and your boyfriend.
And then the funny thing happened. Vanis turned to me and said, "I would do anything for love." And really, I would do anything for love,
but I won't do that.
But I won't do that. But thanks, Rob. And then I was just like, man, I was just speechless with Vanis.
And you were like, wait, what? And he's like, I would do anything for love, anything you were dreaming of, but I just won't do that.
Thank you for joining us today on the Heroes World Quarantine Podcast. I'm your host, Stupe. With me is the owner and proprietor of Heroes World, John Ho. Say hello.
Nobody can hear you because your name is Vanis, and that's why you don't know what to respond with anymore. He's all confused. So for those who are listening on audio, John signs into our Zoom chat under the name of Vanis, Vanis.
So much mileage in this joke,
and nobody knows
why.
Even John, who himself had signed. Listen, everybody, you got to understand. We've all been using Zoom for 2 years. This fool had to have typed in Vanis at some point and is contending he doesn't know how it got there. At any rate, so for those who are listening in audio, on our screen it says Vanis. So Vanis,
they'll never know because they never see that portion of the video. So
that's why
you don't realize.
Dummy.
Yeah, no, but they never know. You could just be completely making this bullshit up.
Let me just take a screenshot of the thing right now.
It doesn't matter if you have a screenshot. No one's gonna see it.
What are you talking about? Well, let me just cut.
It says at the bottom of your name, you dummy. It says Vanis.
No, but they don't see that. If you're watching this on the video feed on YouTube or whatever, you don't see our names on our call. We do see the names, and I guess
we are going to put this out there.
Very humorous, which is fine.
I believe that right there it says Vanis. It's very clear as day.
Okay, there. See, now you did it.
So
you done did it.
Yeah, there's that says Vanis, and like no capitalized. It's a small V-A. So
well, because that's a choice, right? Like that was a personal choice. Yeah. Of that he chose, that of his font size.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a anyways, thank you so much for joining us. With us as always is our variant, one of the many that are populating the various multiverses that are happening right now. Mr. Rob Cadet, please say hello.
Hey, hello. I actually do feel really bad for anybody that thinks that there's multiple versions of me. I'm sorry.
There's gotta be there's a multiple universe where John has a person named Vanis. And then there's another one named Tanis, and it's another just multiples of this. So this is the nature of things. I'm looking forward to that other universe where
the ban is
where both the other versions of Rob and Stu are making fun of John because of his nickname Vanis. Be like, what's going on? Why
right now in the multiverse, there's Chris Farley doing a sketch about a man who lives in a Venice down by the river.
Look it up on YouTube, kids. Great skit.
Yep.
My classic. Rest in peace, Chris Farley. Rest in peace, Meatloaf. Apology to you fans that had to listen to Rob's rendition of that fantastic classic. Words cannot express.
Because you can't think of words. It's been a long day. John just got back from the store, everybody. This is we're recording this late into the evening. John's tired. He's been working all day long.
It's so funny because Chris Farley's cousin is you know that Chris Farley's cousin is the top executive at Ford?
No.
Motor company. So like he did post a picture of I think on social media he talks about how he's like there is a van. He's like, this, and then talks about the fact that his name is Jim Farley. And he's the CEO, like the new CEO of Ford Motor Company, and he is the cousin of Chris Farley. So yeah.
Okay, can I just say something? I just looked at what Vanis, I just Googled Vanis, and is a Hindu, Sanskrit, Indian name, which comes from the name. Okay, the name means eloquent in words. Okay, John, you like we always joke about that. You can't come up with any like. You did this on purpose because if the name Vanis means eloquent
I don't
in
know why
words,
you guys think there's so much mileage in this joke. Like, go, keep going if you want. Get it all out of your system.
This is the new gimmick. I like how you think it's gonna be like this is over. Like this is your new nickname forever. You don't choose a nickname, it's something that happens, and this is what it's gonna be going forward. There is no take
I'm
backsies.
starting an Instagram account, a Twitter account called Vanis is here. Stuff on John O.
Vanis Mo is Vanis is here. Anyways, so welcome to the podcast.
Oh, what are we doing?
Here to talk
Oh, you
about.
tuned out.
We're talking about.
What the heck's going on?
We're talking about Jim Farley, clearly the brother of Chris Farley, and then Vanis, but nonetheless, who lives by a van at the end of the
Van is down by the river.
down by the river.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, so let's go back to the thing we're here. Episode 4 of a small TV show called Peacemaker. The Chode Less Traveled is the episode. John, give us your thoughts on this episode of Peacemaker, as it's been a journey of just it's going at a quick pace. So John, tell us what your thoughts are.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard because we got 3 episodes out the gate. So sometimes you might get whatever the next week's episode is and be like, oh man, I really missed the time they gave us 3 episodes in a row. But this episode didn't disappoint. It gave us some not quite as much action as we got in the previous 3 episodes, but it also gave us a lot of some dramatic elements, which I thought were pretty cool. Some deep looks into some characters' souls, which I thought was a fun thing to do. And this show is just a blast. It's like if you've had a long day at work or something like that, and you want to dive into something that's just gonna make you laugh and have some fun, then this is the show for you folks. Unless for some reason you aren't into this type of humor, which is very James Gunnish, if you want to say that, or I don't know if you would even want to compare it to the kind of Knocked Up and 40-Year-Old Virgin kind of type humor elements. But yeah, this show, I think it's doing exactly what it wanted to do, and it's having a blast doing it, and it looks like everyone's having a blast. I like it. Clearly looks like they're allowing a lot of improv going on, and I dig it. So I'm all in for this one.
Rob, how about you? What was your thoughts on this episode without going into
Yeah,
spoilers?
well, so we should all the episodes are written by James Gunn, but this one is not directed by him. He directed the first 3. This one is directed by another individual.
Named?
Yeah. Sorry?
Named?
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I apologize.
Okay.
I'll get it for you.
Oh, it's
It sounded like you were leading up to that, and then you just stopped.
yeah. This was Jody Hill.
Yeah. So listen, it's a great episode. It's right up my alley in terms of its humor. John's right. It does delve into a bit more of the dramatic feels. You get a bit more into the psychoses of the lead character. As well as I got a tickle in my throat, guys. Sorry. As well as you get to find a little bit more about what's going on with Vigilante. There are some really funny moments that we didn't mention in our review last week about other characters that are name dropped. And there's a really funny scene where Peacemaker is talking about Batman, which I'm sure we'll get into. And the scene in question is like an argument that we've all had in comic book shops with respect to Batman as a character. So, just nails it. It may not have been full throttle as much as the other 3 episodes were, and yet where it may have took its foot off the gas, it still brought up other aspects that made it just as much fun and as appealing as the first 3. So I am very happy with this show thus far.
Just as a reminder, Jody Hill is a male director, producer, screenwriter. He is collaborating on one of my favorite shows of all time, Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, Righteous Gemstones,
Right.
A Foot Fist Way.
Yes, right.
and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all the Danny McBride stuff.
Yeah. So this is his wheelhouse as well.
100%
Yeah.
wheelhouse. Which I love. For those who don't know, Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers is essentially a baseball player who is navigating, used to be a pro player, and now he's fallen into the wacky world of AA, AAA baseball, so minor leagues, and he runs into all these weird characters along the way. It's a great television show to go back and watch. If you like the humor that's happening in Peacemaker, it's definitely worth your time, especially if you understand the gimmick of the episode where he did a book on tape. So he'll every once in a while play that tape back to himself of him talking about his journey as a baseball player. It's really funny. Eastbound and Down. I would recommend it. But okay, so let's go into full spoilers because we might as well go into it, because there are a lot of things in the episode that I was surprised and shocked, and some heartwarming stuff too. But let's go into it, John. Oh, John, what do you give this episode out of 10 before we carry over a rating system?
What did we give the last 3? I feel like I gave it a 9.
Yeah, you did.
I think
out
you
of
gave
10?
it a 9, but Vanis gave it an 8. So
Maybe, I don't know. I have to consult him. But yeah, I think this maybe slows it down. So I don't know if I can dock it a point for that. I think I will, just so we have a little more room to play with coming up. So I'd give it like an 8 out of 10, just because it's not going to have the crazy action that you got in the first 3 that kind of just went.
What did it do again? Sorry.
What?
What type of action? What did it do? What was this special sound effect you just did?
There was no special sound effect. What are you talking about?
You dummy! You went like
There
that.
you go. You dork.
We love each other, eh? Everybody, you got to know the three of us.
No, we don't.
We definitely love Vanis.
You got to
We
know.
definitely love Vanis.
Stu and I are like this. Yeah, listen, I'm going to give it a 9. Even though John says it slowed down and it was, not as much action, I actually contend that there was really intense action scenes in this movie, in this episode. The fighting scenes, there's like 3 distinct fighting scenes that were really, really cool. So I'm going to give it a 9 still, because even though it did tone down the aggro humor and the aggressiveness of the big action scenes, it really delivered in other aspects. So a 9 for me.
So let's go into full spoilers because we should. So if you haven't seen it, please pause, come back, join us again.
Do we have your rating out of 10 though? What did you give it?
I would say this is a good 7.5.
Okay.
7.5. It had some points to it.
Stu's not as amped up as we are.
I feel like I said before, I think the show does it really well. The dialogue is what makes
I think it's really nailing like its niche that it's
the tone and the conversation and what they're doing. It makes a lot of sense. I'm curious to see how they're gonna move forward, because the escalation is what I'm curious about, because we'll talk about it now, because at the end of this episode, spoiler, the main one of the head of it you basically find out that he is also has a butterfly infection. So like you see him drink out of the cup too, and you're like, I expected that was not a shock to me. I expected him to be part of, yeah, I honestly expected everyone to be part of the butterfly, like all the team to be infected by them, because I just figured like that was the case, right? They don't seem very smart. They're all kind of all over the place. It is what it is. But I found that it was interesting that they dropped it on episode 4. But again, I guess it's the midway point. John, what did you think in this episode? Like,
so the reveal looked pretty crazy. I didn't really kind of see it coming. I was actually right about to say that character, who is, I think his gimmick is that he doesn't feel emotions or something like that. I was gonna say he's actually like pulling off this low key humor with that twist when he responds to other characters that you see. You got to kind of like pay a little bit of attention when he does stuff. But overall, yeah, the episode, like I kind of dock it a point just because it doesn't have one of those big moments. It doesn't have a big action moment. It doesn't have.
It does have the big moment where Judo Master gets shot in the chest.
Yeah, but it's
and then John Cena turns around and is like, I got that. Like, what about the
I
fight?
could have won that fight.
Yeah, like
now I'll never know I was gonna win that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it didn't have as big a thing as like the previous episodes. Like the other ones had like really big action scenes where they had a really funny comedic monologue that was really crazy. So this one didn't quite have it, but it did have, like Rob said, that emotional scene of John Cena's character, Chris, what's his name, Chris Smith or something like that. Yeah. Just basically having a breakdown, which was pretty cool to see John Cena go through that. So I think he's really trying some out there stuff, and I just love this vigilante character. I don't know, I forgot what his name is, Adrian something or whatever.
Adrian Chase.
Adrian from Arrow, from as well. He was in Arrow and Vigilante. Yeah. He's like the way he gets locked up into prison. He grabs this garbage can very slowly, throws it out the window, and then
and
gets
all the
locked
guards
up.
are just looking at him like, what? Yeah.
So it was pretty funny, and then you find out that he is also, kind of damaged and kind of going through a bunch of stuff. So it's neat to see this balance of like him, I guess, wanting to be a good guy doing like these horrible things, I guess, and then John Cena coming from an upbringing. So it's like they're almost like meeting in the, like, I don't know, it's kind of like something really different for these two characters. And then what's her name? I don't remember any of the characters' names yet, so I don't know if we're supposed to know them all by name. But she doesn't hesitate and shoots Judo Master, who of course doesn't die, which is pretty funny. So we'll see where that
Amanda
goes.
Waller's daughter. Yeah.
I don't remember what, but I think she's really good. I actually really like that actress or what she's playing. Like I like how she.
She's Leota. That's her name.
And shout out to the girl who plays Hardcore. Is her name Hardcore or
no Harcourt? HAR.
Hardcore. Yeah, man, she's freaking ripped. Her arms are like more ripped than John Cena's. It's kind of crazy. So shout out to her, and I'm looking forward to them. What they're going to do with these characters. So how many episodes we got in this?
4 now. I think we have 8 total.
Okay, so we're halfway. Okay,
Yeah, I feel like we're halfway.
Anything can happen. Yeah.
Rob, what are your thoughts as I double check my facts here?
Listen, I thought it was really good. So I actually, the action scenes that do take place, there's a fight, obviously, as we mentioned, between Judo Master, who escapes custody, and Peacemaker. And that was a great scene. I will say, though, that throughout the course of this show, and I'm going to go kind of geeky on visual stuff, and John's going to roll his eyes, but it seemed to maintain a certain level throughout most of the show of how it looks, the type of cameras they were using, and this and that. And I felt that this one scene, though, that took place in the parking lot looked a lot more guerrilla style filmmaking. It was different. I don't know if that was on purpose. It was the one time I noticed, like, oh, is this like a budgetary issue? Like they were shooting it with different styles of cameras, or is it that was made on purpose, that type of shooting style? So I wasn't too sure, but it didn't look as polished or as crisp as the rest of the show did. So I'm assuming it was done on purpose. For what reason? I don't know.
I think they had to cheat. Yeah, they had to cheat some things. So they sped up some. They definitely sped up some camera work and shaked it up to make it look more intense.
The fight scene, but if you juxtapose that though with the fight scene in the prison between Vigilante, or I guess Adrian Chase, and the other inmates, completely different. Like the visual style of that fight scene, like I'm just talking about like the actual camera, it looked vastly different. The images that were being captured. So but that was an amazing fight scene. Like you really got the sense that this guy has some serious skill, right? Like, because when he's dragging that the metal waste bin in the guards eating area outside, it's like he's struggling to try to heave it and lift it to break the window. But when he was inside prison, he was taking down dudes like left, right, without a care in the world. His delivery and his lines with respect to calling them rednecks, and it was utterly fantastic. It was very, very funny. John Cena, has, so I'm going to talk about that Batman scene where he goes to his dad's house to get some of his helmets, and he meets the old guy again, the old neighbor, and the neighbor starts kind of nutting him a bit about, being a superhero or a supervillain and this and that. And he goes, you can't be a superhero because you kill people.
You don't have
Batman,
a rogues gallery. Yeah.
You have a rogues gallery. Yeah. Batman doesn't, he has a rogues gallery. And then the whole thing about Peacemaker is that Batman's a pussy, essentially. He should be killing people and he doesn't. He puts them in jail and they break out. If he was that good, he would have, and so it was a very, very funny scene, but it plays into what we all as comic book fans or even movie fans of those movies have always debated. Like, he keeps throwing the Joker in and the guy keeps getting out. What the hell's the point, right? So I thought that was really, really funny. The scene of the end of him almost remembering the traumatic events of his childhood, like the PTSD is starting to, lift the fog of his childhood and remembering just how evil his father was, essential, psychological torture and warfare on his young 6-year-old son. And you see Cena, emoting that and breaking down, but then lashing out like he's in a drug haze, like he smoked a bong. And I didn't realize he kept one of those butterflies. So he decided to hotbox he gave the butterfly a super. So the butterfly was all high.
Yeah,
and
you knew
that.
something was up because they didn't show them getting rid of that butterfly. They just put away.
Yeah.
In the previous episode. So you knew something was up.
Yeah. So
did you like Robert Patrick's mullet?
How funny was that, right? Yeah. He had the Billy Ray Cyrus hair going on. Yeah, actually, he looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme from Hard Target. So
100%.
I really thought that this episode just played to us another set of strengths that I was not anticipating. And it didn't fall back. That humor can get very dry. No, sorry. You can get very old and dated if it's the same stuff, and you have to kind of elevate. Humor is a very tough thing to kind of maintain. Comedies are very difficult to do, and I think that they're just doing a fabulous job with it. So
comedies and horrors, it's the hardest thing to do.
Yep.
Speaking of the episode, John, it was interesting because I think we all agree Chase is the best thing in every one of these episodes. He's the most fun, the most gravitas, everything back and forth. But you talked about Amanda Waller's daughter, because in the first episode she's like, you have this potential, you can do this, and now you're starting to see her make decisions and really move down a different path, because the little subtle things of not picking up her wife's phone calls, these are things that you're starting to see more and more. Where do you think this character is going, John?
Well, the indication is I think at the beginning, Amanda Waller basically says that she's better than all these people she's teamed up with. So potentially she is going to become, I guess, the leader potentially, or just show that she outclasses them all and move on to whatever she's doing next, because she figures out what did she figure out again? She figures something out and calls the guy. And then
the butterfly business card. I didn't know. I didn't see whose purse that was that had the ID tag. I didn't understand whose that was, but yeah.
So she cracked something, whereas everyone else was kind of stuck. So I think the potential is, or the indication is, that she is actually better than everybody on the team. So we'll see where it goes.
Rob?
Yeah, it's interesting because I actually think, listen, the character, she's coming across as naive. This is her first mission. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's, accidentally doing things. She's screwing up. I think it's all a ploy. I think it's all for show. It's she herself is portraying a character, and I think John's right. I think at the very end of Vale, she'll be like, and you'll realize that she's way smarter than what anybody's ever given her credit for. She was just playing the fool, to not have a spotlight on her. So I think she's somebody to definitely watch.
As I watch the intro now, that James could have said, hey, each time the intro with the song is gonna be different, and I watch it now with and
I was
10
gonna say,
vision.
can you guys tell me what's different? I don't
And
really notice
I
anything.
think it's the expression on people's faces. I think the first episode did a lot more like happy, and now they're just a complete dead face. And I can't figure out whether it's because all of these pokes are basically been mind controlled by the butterflies, like they all are in sync. And even the way that the main characters like Horkoff comes in with the other character, I believe, what's his name?
Mern.
When they come in kind of like puppet dancing, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like I feel like these are all at the end, just like Starro, they're all been basically captured by the butterflies, and they all seem to be in sync for a purpose. Because it's the only thing that seems to link up right now. But maybe I'm completely wrong. Just like Mephisto. Maybe I'm wrong with this one again. But I feel
James
like
Gunn is known.
Like,
Sorry.
well, yeah, James Gunn is known.
I was gonna say James Gunn is known for his inclusion of music. Do you think we're gonna hear "Butterfly" by Crazy Town? Do you think he's gonna go that low to
I hope
that really bad
No.
in 2000s?
I hope.
No, we have a better chance of hearing Mariah Carey's Butterfly.
Yeah,
Dude,
honestly,
do you think it's going to be like Young Justice, where basically they have these butterflies or these aliens kind of like taking over all these people's bodies or something? I'm
And-
like,
and
what's even going to do that? Because it's
and-
DC Universe, right?
yeah, and even at the end when Juno Master's like, you don't understand, and then she shoots him, I'm like, oh, she knows more than, because either
Yeah,
Juno
maybe she was
Master's
setting
like,
him up. Yeah.
like, oh, these aren't as bad as you think they are. And I'm like, oh. So some of the takeaways outside of that was I guess they're setting up some sort of gorilla, whether it's Grodd or something else, because every time they're
Yeah.
like, gorilla escapes from the zoo, and like everything will go back, like the zoo is missing. I was like, huh.
I've never picked up on that.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
on
they,
TV,
they cut to it, and the TV is like, yeah, the thing's missing from the blah blah
yeah,
blah.
like
and
when he goes back to the house,
this is a long segment.
it's like a lot of things like, oh, the zookeepers can't figure out where the gorilla went. It went missing. And then
Yeah, you're right. I never
like,
even thought of that.
there's like the weird kind of things about the gorilla, and even when you saw the newspaper when Adrian was gonna throw it, like if you stop the newspaper again talking about this gorilla, and you're like, what the hell's going on with this gorilla? So I don't know whether
Okay.
it's the gorilla, like they're saving all their CGI budgets for like a gorilla battle. I don't know, but I do also, I think in one of the things that someone talked about before was that on that newspaper, it also talked about Intergang, who is now being, as you know, from the DC universe, is given basically equipment from Darkseid. So I guess he's still alive, has taken over control of a certain country that is controlled by The Rock and Black Lightning. So I think there's something going on with Shazam. So there's like little things they've dropped. Also, the one thing I also laughed because I also questioned was the Matter Eater Lad. I think he's part of he's part of the Legion. So I was like, wait, how would you know him if he's part of the Legion? So that's where I was kind of like, like he comes from a land of like, I think it's called like Pepto, where the food got really scarce, so everyone on the planet can eat anything because they ran out of food. But he was part of the Legion, so I'm just like,
but they're throwing in these obscure, like even in the Suicide Squad. I mean, he was throwing in obscure, like James Gunn, obscure characters that really had no, like I don't know if it's just, I think it was a funny bit, right? I mean, he ate a Wendy's, and to the point where he's talking about it, and then and Mern's like, why, what's going on with this matter? He goes, you got to focus and stop. You got to stay on point and focus. You can't get distracted, and which is hilarious because that, Peacemaker essentially distracted Mern off of his point. I don't know. Maybe I think it might have been for a bit. Regardless, maybe you're right. I don't know, but it was funny as hell.
Like all these things are just basically, it's a very
Easter eggs almost
Kevin Smithian, I guess, in terms of these weird dialogue tangents he has. Not since the Hunt for October when they talked about the Silver Surfer. And I've just been like,
Crimson Tide, bro.
Crimson Tide,
It's
sorry, Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Where they're talking about Mobius and the Silver Surfer. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but that was Tarantino.
That was Tarantino, yeah.
Yeah.
But Kevin Smith does the same type of thing too, where he talks about cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff going on. So how jazzed are you still, John, of this show? Because it's kind of now where it's settled a bit. Are you still as excited as you were after watching the first 3 episodes on a roller coaster ride?
I think this show is hitting its mark, which is fun thing that you watch after work. It's not too heavy, although we did have some more emotional elements, but it's still relatively light, humorous watch. So I think this is just it's doing what it's aiming to do and doing it well. I think it's executing the level of difficulty it's set for itself, if we want to use metaphors we've talked about before.
So you're saying you'd rather watch this than Hotel Transylvania 4?
Oh man, I gotta get that on dock. That's gonna be a fantastic watch.
It's on Prime, John. It's available for you and your kiddies to watch. So
yeah, I gotta set it up for the kiddies. Yeah.
Everyone but Adam Sandler's back, so it's a thing.
What? Adam Sandler is not doing the voice in Hotel Transylvania 4?
No, he's out.
What the hell?
Him,
Who's doing the voice?
Kevin
then?
James, a guy that sounds exactly the same. Your kids won't even know the difference.
Oh, okay.
It's a Selena
Weird.
Gomez vehicle now. She's like, I want to keep on doing this, and I'm like, good, go, keep on. You go, girl. You make that money, because Adam Sandler's done. After Hotel Transylvania 4, he's out. Rob,
Hey, buddy.
what are you on?
Oh
how's
God,
your
dude!
excitement? Like, where are you at
I
now?
can't wait. Yeah, listen, when I see it even now on my Crave profile. Listen, I watched it a couple days ago when it came out. I still see the giant tile, when I turn on Crave, and I'm like, oh, like I would love to see more. Like some shows, patience is a virtue, and some shows I need to consume it all now. I just wish I had it, because I would just be blown right through it. It's so good. So yeah, I'm just loving it. It's, again, guys, I don't do any swearing or this and that, on the podcast and stuff like that. But that's how I am afterwards. I mean, I don't have the moves of the vigilante, but yeah, it's that type of humor is right in my wheelhouse. So
With that attitude, of course you won't. You gotta hit the gym, Rob. You gotta do some bodies.
He's a grower, not he's growing, not a shower.
Yeah, like you just gotta commit. You just gotta commit. You gotta get a Bowflex. You gotta get
I don't know because I don't know if I'm a good chode or like the bad chode. I don't really know.
Like Suzanne Summers can get you a Thigh Master. Like, these are things you can do to get yourself back in the game, Rob. So
thanks, buddy.
Don't set yourself low. Like there's a lot of things you can do. Jazzercise. You can get that cardio back up. So
I need to be able to get the motivation that my buddy Vanis has.
Could your superhero name be Vanis?
No.
You could.
I don't know if I'm that eloquent with words. I don't know.
We'll see. So as we're wrapping up, I want to show you this one more thing on my share screen as we go forward. So I will share my screen one more time and to show, and hopefully you'll see. This is the profile of Jim Farley, and read his profile.
Mustang and racing fan, happen to love white vans, preferably down by the river. That's awesome.
CEO of Ford Motor Company. This is what's going on. See, John, and he has this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Okay, well, anyways,
I'm excited. Like, Stu, are you excited to watch like the next episodes? Like, is this appointment viewing for you? Essentially, it comes out on Thursdays. So is this like your Thursday? Like, you're excited for Thursdays? Your must-watch TV?
Yeah, I like, again. I'm happy. I'm happy to see the show. I think, like, in the day, I'm more excited to see Moon Knight, but that's just me because I'm a big fan of Oscar Isaac. So we'll see what happens. And Ethan Hawke looks great. I'm a big fan of Ethan Hawke, so I'm excited to see where this goes. It's been very Vancouver-y, so I'm just excited to see London Belarus, Hungary, whatever the hell they filmed that show, because I want to escape and see another country. I think my wife made a comment that Moon Knight will be the first Marvel movie with no tie-in, or TV show with no tie-in. It's not like Hawkeye, it's not WandaVision, it's not like this is a brand new property with really no one involved in a country that we haven't seen in a long time. So I'm super uber excited to see that. But yeah, I'm enjoying the show. I think, but I am excited to see something different too.
I actually kind of thought, Stu, that this show would hit for you this episode because they really essentially just shoehorned in an actual TARDIS inside of Chris Smith's father's house. I thought that using the interdimensional panels of Pocket Universe to make things bigger on the inside, Stu.
Honestly,
your heart would swell.
After I watched Encanto, they did the exact same thing. They made the same joke. It's bigger on the inside, bigger on the smaller on the outside. Like, what's going on? So same thing. Encanto, you should watch it. By the way, it's a good one on Disney Plus. It's a good. We don't talk about Bruno as a banger of a song. It's fantastic. Okay, John, where can we find you on the internets in the desert of the real?
So social media, you can find us Heroes World Online, Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube, the website, and that will link you directly to our physical store as well, located in Markham, Ontario. We've got tons and tons of stuff in stock. You can come visit us. Open pretty much 6 days a week whenever we can get in there. We're understaffed like everybody else right now, but we have a lot of fun. So definitely you're welcome to come join us and check out all our cool stuffs.
Rob?
So
the Sidekick Show.
Well, Sidekick Show happens every Monday night at 8 p.m. live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. This Monday, we are in the midst of our 90s action bracket. So if you haven't joined us before, we're doing a rundown of the best action movies from the 90s. This is the 1990 to 1994 era. On this Monday show, we have got Jean-Claude Van Damme in Hard Target going up against Bruce Willis in The Last Boy Scout. What's that?
And Damon Wayans.
And with Damon Wayans, this is a huge pedigree of action, and we're going to talk all about it because you have John Woo directing one, and you've got Tony Scott directing the other. So definitely you want to tune in live Monday night, 8 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can check out on the YouTube channel. It's right here, so set your reminder, and we'll see you on Monday to talk about those movies.
So thank you for joining us. Please comment below. Let us know your thoughts on Peacemaker. Let us know if we're wrong. Let us know your thoughts and what you're enjoying so far. And
thanks, Vanis.
Out there. The avenging angel known as Vanis will come after you if you don't do your homework, kids. So do your homework, or Vanis will come after you. Good night, everyone.
He'll take his thesaurus and use some eloquent words to drop you down
a peg. Yes. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
See ya.